Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, we're back to cold weather, at least for a couple of days, below freezing at night. I know for some of you that's laughable, but we've had some really, really warm weather here lately. Unusually warm, breaking temperature, record temperature warm. Even in the 80s during the day, nighttime lows in the 60s in February and early March. That's crazy. But we're back to kind of normal temperatures, highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s for a couple of days, and then we'll warm back up again. So apparently Vladimir Putin has been elected once again as president. I believe this is the sixth time. He can be elected until the day he dies. They changed that law there in Russia. And of course, there's a lot of people saying how this is just a big fake election and all this kind of stuff. And it probably is. Who knows if there's a such thing as true, honest, genuine elections anymore. But I mean, I have a hard time criticizing their election process when we reflect upon our own here in the United States. So, does it really matter? I mean, at this point, I don't know that it really even matters. Spanish newspaper has confirmed or is saying again what was kind of slipped by one of the ministers in Spain a couple of weeks ago, that there are in fact NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine. They're in advisory and support and training roles, but there are numerous NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine. So it's not that it's something that has changed or is any different, because most of us have believed that this has been the case for a while. It's just more confirmation, and then of course the more confirmation there is of that, the greater the chance for Russia to react to it and say, here, see, there's NATO's involved directly, that kind of stuff. Because the stuff going on between Ukraine and Russia is very much intensifying. And I know that some of you have grown tired of that conflict and think that nothing is going to happen there, and you could very well be correct. You may be right on this one, but it's still well within the realm of possibility that things really kind of kick off there in that region, and it kind of spirals out of control elsewhere. China has basically given the strongest stringent statement yet in regards to it, and saying that they would in fact come to Russia's aid if Russia was attacked by the West, that they would unquestionably come to Russia's aid. So that's not been something that's been said quite so boldly and publicly before. China has tried to give the appearance of being neutral, right? Even though we know they're not, but they've at least attempted to. More stuff going on continually with the border, with the Haitian people probably ending up in the United States. There's more talk of that. There's been ships, little boats that's been stopped in the Florida seas there around Florida. So that's just going to continue to get worse. There almost every day now there's news reports of some illegal refugee migrant that has committed some heinous crime here in the United States, or that some company is firing United States citizens and hiring a whole bunch of illegals. So it's a problem, but I think what's going to happen, I don't know what everything is going to happen, but one thing I think is guaranteed is going to happen is it's talked about so much, it's so much constantly, that people are just going to lose interest in it. And because that's how things go. They talk about it so much and just inundate your news feed online with it so much that it gets to the point that no one cares. They become numb to it. They become complacent. And that's probably what's going to happen with that. And then one day we wake up and it's all falling apart because, another 5 or 10 million has poured into this country. I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the news, as always. Stuff in the Middle East, Israel is made plans to move into the south against the will of the Biden administration. They say they're going to do it. The Houthis have officially, openly joined forces, I guess you could say, with Iran. Iran is fully supporting them. And there's a whole lot going on in Israel with this red heifer thing, and I'm not going to get into it big today because that's probably a very lengthy video all on its own. But I'm telling you, on the surface, this has been something I've been following for a while, and some of you have no clue whatsoever what I'm talking about, but others know. It does look like, at least on the surface, that very, very big key end time prophecies are being fulfilled. I know that many people have said for years and for generations that various different end-time prophecies are being fulfilled long ago, and that, now is no different than before, and blah, blah, blah. This is the one thing that is different. Just to give a super, super brief, wrap up here, they have to build a third temple, to build a temple in Israel. The first thing that they have to do is to have very pure, perfect, spotless, blotless, whatever, red heifers. Yes, a heifer cow that is red in color. And there's only been like 9 of them in all of history, in all of Jewish history. The last ones were used to dedicate to the previous temple, the second temple. And so they slaughter them, and they use the blood, and they use it to purify. This part is biblical. It's not just made up. This is not tradition. It's biblical. They purify the tools to use to build the temple. Well, they have them. They've had them for a while now, and they've been getting ready. They've built the altar to sacrifice or to slaughter them. And basically, they have 9 months before these heifers are too old to be considered the red heifers. And the word on the street is it's quite possible that they could be doing this during Passover. Now, if this does happen soon, then it very quickly paves the way to a third temple being built. And those of you that follow biblical prophecies, you know that's big, 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 huge. All of that happening during this potential something with this eclipse. I mean, no one really knows. There's a lot of speculation with it, and a lot of people think it's just another government psyop, but who knows? I will say this, and I've said this before. There is quite a large possibility that the only thing that's happening and the only thing that will happen is just these people that kind of control things behind the scenes just doing stuff to cause us to all be afraid, and that nothing really big is really going to happen, that they don't have to cause World War III. They don't have to have an EMP or a nuclear attack or a grid down scenario or a cyber. They don't have to do those. They don't have to go to that extreme to cause things to fall apart and for people to fall in line. They just have to get everyone afraid. The left is afraid of the right, and the left is afraid of climate change and all of these things like that. The right is afraid of SHTF, of it all falling apart, and World War III and everything else. And what it ends up doing is it causes division, causes stress, causes panic. It suppresses productivity. No one is really trying to advance and grow and become something better and to invent something better or work harder. It's just everyone's in this kind of hunkered down, let's wait and see because it looks like the world's ending mode. And if that is the only thing that happens, then their plan could certainly fall into place. Remember that it's not that far away from 2030, which is kind of the first real big key number a year of when big things happen. And we need to get ready for that. But we don't need to be in panic. We don't need to be in fear. We don't need to have just, shut everything else out only so that we can stick our heads in the ground or that we can go crawl in our bunkers that most of us, you and I, don't even have. But you know what I mean, figuratively speaking, of course. I mean, if you got a bunker, good on you. But we can't give up on being good and doing good. We can't give up on fulfilling the Great Commission of being his light in the world, of shining Yeshua's light and showing the world what that means. We cannot just stop being fishers of men because we're afraid. We can't just stop just reaching out to others and touching others' lives and helping others out. We can't do that. We can't just stop doing that just because we're afraid. Because when we do stop doing that, then of course I think that's when we really fall in line with what they want us to do. They want us to stop doing these things. They want us to just hide in a hole, and they want us to give up. They want us to be just frozen and petrified in fear. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. There is a lot of doom and gloom. Okay, that's not fear-mongering, it's just a fact. There's a lot of doom and gloom out there. There's also a lot of good out there. There's still really good people. And there's people just thinking that they're the only one left in the world that's good like them. And of course it's not true. And they and you and many others need to unite. Need to come together. Need to find each other. We're not that rare. I mean, it seems like we are, and that's what the media wants us to believe. That's what the social media wants us to believe. But the fact is that far left woke people, they're the rare ones. They're the minority. Statistically speaking and everything, they are the minority. And we need to, yes, continue to prepare. Yes, be on guard, keep our head on a swivel, maintain our operational security, maintain situational awareness. All of these things are true, but we also need to be building coalitions and relationships and tribe and crew and not being afraid of what's going on. And that's a hard one because it doesn't take much watching and listening online or in the news or elsewhere or just out in public to find many reasons to be afraid. And we can't be that way. Because we know the end of the story. We know how this story goes, the end of the book. And we win. The good guys win. Okay? This is all just a big charade, a big game for them. So that they can prove that they're the best. So they want to prove to the world that they're equal to or superior to God himself. That's true. It's very evil. It's very satanic. And we know that that's not true. And it doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect and easy and simple and fine. But it does mean that who is on our side is much greater than them. And we have to remember that. Yes, keep prepping, keep stocking up, keep producing food, getting more self-sufficient, developing skills, train as often as you can. All of these things are true. But we also have to be building relationships with people. We also have to be drawing closer to God the Father and his Son Yeshua. We also have to be consuming his word much more, hiding it in our heart. And we have to not be afraid, because that's really what they want. They want us to be afraid. They want to create so much chaos, and then they'll create the order out of it. They will create it, they say. And we need to not let that happen, at least in our own lives. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.